News Network, the Dusty News Network. You know, where Negro news goes first, and I'm so excited to be.
You think your love life is messy? Wait until you hear how Keyshia Cole went back to the same guy who cheated on her, got his baby mama pregnant, and had her tattoo removed, only to end up with him again. This story is so wild, you won't believe it till the end.
And she back with him, and everybody is talking about it right now on social media, how bad Keyshia Cole looked, how desperate Keyshia Cole looked. I mean, she played a victim. She be at the concerts crying and all that. And that Keyshia Cole deserves better. You only deserve better when you think you deserve better. I'm going to tell you, a lot of you brothers out there in the black community, man, dealing with some sisters that are like Keyshia Cole. She fine. She cool to hang around. Everything is clicking and you really want to be with her, but she can't ever really appreciate somebody like you. And she's going back to guys like this. Like, she has a history of dealing with men like this. And when a woman got a history of dealing with men like this, it don't matter how much you love her. It don't matter how much you want to be with her. It don't matter how much you want to help her. Once she's like Keyshia Cole and broken, that's what she needs to do for herself. She will always chase a guy like that. And you're going to have women that you meet that are just going to always be like that, no matter what you do. And it's not your fault. You're going to get mad. You're going to wonder why she's choosing that dude, because that is where she's supposed to be. And thank God you ain't got to put up with somebody hella broken, man. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've done that. And I've seen chicks that I've been madly crazy in love with go back to a dude that's all kind of down bad, broke. You know, the police kicking the door in and all that stuff. And as a man, you sitting back wondering why she can't be with you, because you don't want those problems. I'm going to tell you for a fact, you would never want somebody like Keyshia Cole in your life. Nothing but heartache and pain. I don't care how good the cheeks is.
It's become pretty clear at this point. Keyshia Cole doesn't seem interested in escaping the cycle of unhealthy relationships. Time and time again, she finds herself drawn toward toxic dynamics where mistreatment is almost expected, and unfortunately, breaking free never seems to be part of the plan. Welcome to the Dusty News Network, your not-so-typical source for cultural commentary and stories that hit close to home. I'm your host today, bringing you the latest scoop with a little perspective sprinkled in. Keyshia Cole, a proud California native and one of the defining R&B voices of her generation, has had an undeniable impact on music. Her talent and success are beyond question. Yet, while her career has soared, her personal life, particularly her relationships, has painted a different picture. From her marriage to Daniel Gibson to her time with Keyshia Cole, and even a brief involvement with Antonio Brown, the pattern has been difficult to ignore. More recently, her connection with the rapper Huncho became especially complicated. Huncho, an Atlanta-based rapper towering at 6 feet 7 inches and significantly younger than Cole, seemed to sweep her into another whirlwind. The relationship grew so intense that she tattooed his name on her body, only to later have it removed. The real story behind that dramatic decision eventually surfaced when Tasha K shed light on what went down. Remember when Keyshia Cole split from Huncho and even went so far as to remove the tattoo she had dedicated to him? At the time, people speculated about what caused the breakup, especially after that situation with rapper Gloss Up, who appeared in a video with Huncho and seemed to throw subtle jabs at Cole, implying their connection was still alive. The internet was buzzing. Why did Keyshia really walk away? Well, the answer eventually came out. Huncho's ex, the mother of his child, was pregnant again with his baby, while he was still involved with Cole. That revelation explained everything. While Cole was investing herself in the relationship, Huncho was splitting his attention elsewhere, even rekindling things with his ex and openly entertaining other women. It was a cycle of blatant disrespect. For a moment, it looked like Keyshia had finally drawn a line. Removing the tattoo felt symbolic, almost like the start of her reclaiming self-respect. Fans thought she was ready to leave behind toxic dynamics once and for all. But then, just when it seemed like progress was being made, she reappeared in public, right back with Huncho. The backlash on social media was swift and unforgiving. Many people felt she looked desperate, even humiliating herself by returning to someone who had already embarrassed her so publicly. At concerts, she carried the weight of that pain, breaking down in tears on stage. The irony is that Keyshia Cole, a woman with immense talent and a legacy in music, continues to settle for relationships that diminish her worth. And the painful truth fans keep repeating is this: she deserves far better than the situations she keeps choosing. The truth is you only get better when you believe you deserve better, and many brothers find themselves chasing women who remind them of Keyshia Cole, beautiful, fun, and easy to vibe with, yet constantly running back to toxic men because that's what feels familiar. No matter how much love or stability you offer, if she has a history of broken relationships, nothing you do will change that until she chooses healing for herself. And the best thing a man can do is walk away, protect his peace, and realize it's not his fault if she prefers chaos. In another troubling situation, a young woman went public about having an inappropriate relationship with her teacher, describing how it started with casual conversations, favors, and better grades, eventually blurring the line between student and authority. While she told the story casually, the reality is serious. If she's underage, it's illegal, and no matter how much she goes along with it. The responsibility lies with the adult who abused his position of power. Together, these stories highlight a hard truth. Cycles of brokenness and blurred boundaries will always lead to pain, and whether in love or in life, growth begins only when people recognize their worth and refuse to normalize toxic choices. Boundaries matter more than ever, and even coaches and teachers today know they must protect themselves from any situation that could be misinterpreted, like my former schoolmate Carl Reed Jr., now a coach at Grant High, who said he won't even give students a ride home because of how easily rumors can start. Young people today are aware. They scheme, they test boundaries, and that's why adults in authority must stay far from compromising situations. Yet what's even more troubling is seeing how broken family dynamics can push young women into dangerous paths. One college student recently shared how, when she asked her father for help to avoid being kicked out of school, instead of supporting her, he told her to either sell her body or hit the streets hustling for fast money, and shockingly, she admitted he'd given the same advice to her sister. Stories like these show the deep cracks within parts of our community. Young people turning to TikTok instead of teachers, fathers encouraging exploitation instead of protection, and cycles of dysfunction being passed down rather than broken. At the heart of it all is the same lesson. When guidance fails, lives derail, and until healing and accountability become the norm, too many will mistake survival for success.
The phrase, I knew he was going, okay? So in other words, I knew he would be doing, something with me. He was attracted to me. Now, this young lady is a pretty young lady, all right? And she knows that she's an attractive young lady. We just gonna put it out there, right? She says the guy is going. Now, she is underage, if this is the true story, and if she's under 18, but you hear what she's saying? She like, I know he going. Wait a minute, hold on now. You supposed to be a victim. Why you didn't go report him? No, I knew he was going. I know he with it because she with it. Now, it's still wrong, especially on the man side. But listen to how she playing it, right? I know he going, okay? So he keeping me after class. He keeping me after school, right? Now, as much as this is wrong, if this is a true story, she's sure making it sound like it ain't a problem to her. But hold on. Look at what she says next.
Gee, I'm finna start asking my teacher, do they want like, I can't get this work done. It's too hard. Like, can I give you something else for a good grade? Like, at this point, like, that's how hard it's actually getting. Like, y'all don't understand. Y'all think, like...
This young lady done set her ass up here and said, I gotta offer some, you know what, for some teachers to pass this class. Hold on, I'm not a high school teacher, never was. But could I imagine that some of these students, both male and female.
I still can't believe any father would tell his own daughters to go out and sell themselves for money. But then again, this story comes out of Philadelphia. Shout out to Philly, I love y'all. But when Dr. Umar is the most famous spokesperson coming out of your city, I can't give y'all a pass on this one. And listen, this isn't me trying to clown Philly too hard, but this is rough. What kind of example are we setting when a father, the very person who's supposed to protect his daughters from predators, flips the script and tells them to become one of the very people he should be protecting them from? It makes no sense. And it's not just disturbing, it's dusty on every single level. Let's break this down piece by piece because the Dusty Olympics have been going crazy this week. First up, you got the student who basically hinted at giving up her body just to pass math class. Math, y'all. Not med school, not law school, basic college math. We talking about equations, fractions, decimals. And instead of cracking open a textbook, instead of going to tutoring, instead of watching a couple YouTube math tutorials, she's already negotiating her dignity for a passing grade. If that's not dusty behavior, I don't know what is. Because at the end of the day, you can retake a class, but you can't retake your self-respect once you've put it on clearance. Then you move on to the next story. This young woman who went on TikTok saying her own dad told her and her sister to clap it up for tuition money. Like, bruh, what? Imagine calling your father in desperation because you're about to get kicked out of school, hoping for encouragement or even a little financial help, and instead of stepping up, this man says, well, you know what you gotta do? Sell that box. That's the advice he's giving out? That's parental wisdom in 2025? That's not fatherhood, that's pimp energy, and not even successful pimp energy. That's Dollar Tree discount pimp energy. And the craziest part is he didn't just stop at that. He doubled down and gave his other daughter the same suggestion. That means this wasn't a one-time slip-up. This man is consistent in his dustiness. If Dusty Hall of Fame was real, he'd have a plaque already mounted. But then we arrive at Keyshia Cole, and this is where the competition really heats up. Because while those first two stories are outrageous, they don't carry the weight of disappointment the way Keyshia does. See, those girls are young, and in some way they're still figuring life out. But Keyshia? She's a grown woman, an established star, a legend from Oakland. Her name carries weight. Her career has inspired people. And yet, when it comes to relationships, she continues to fumble the bag over and over again. Let's keep it real. This isn't just about Huncho. This is about a pattern. From Daniel Gibson to Nico Cale to Antonio Brown, the stories have always ended the same way. Keyshia playing the victim in another toxic relationship. But this Huncho situation hit different because it was so publicly embarrassing. She tattooed this man's name on her body like he was her forever, only to remove it later when the relationship collapsed under the weight of infidelity and disrespect. Not only did Huncho cheat, but he even got his baby mama pregnant in the middle of it all. That's not just a red flag. That's a whole parade of red flags marching down Peachtree Street in Atlanta. And now the streets are buzzing with the question, how do you let a younger rapper, a man not even really from Atlanta but from North Carolina, drag your name through the mud when you're an Oakland legend? Oakland is too real, too respected, too culturally important for this kind of embarrassment. You can't keep claiming the Bay when your love life looks like an episode of Maury. The Bay birthed Too Short, E40, and a whole lineage of game spitting. Keyshia, you can't keep lowering the standard like this. So here we are, at the end of today's episode, and the Dusty Award has to be handed out. And yes, the competition was strong. Between daughters being told by their father to sell themselves and students offering up their bodies for a passing grade, there was dust flying everywhere. But the crown, the heavyweight championship belt of dustiness, goes to Keyshia Cole. Because at this point, it's not just about one bad decision, it's about a consistent pattern of ignoring lessons life keeps trying to teach you. Keyshia, I'm sorry, but you've officially got to relocate. Oakland is too strong, too powerful, too legendary to keep letting you drag its name into the mud. We can't let the city's reputation take a hit because you decided to chase after rappers who can't even stay faithful long enough for you to heal from your last relationship. So maybe Fresno is the spot. Maybe Napa. Maybe Chico. Hell, maybe even Redding. But Oakland? Nah, you can't keep claiming the O with this energy. Not anymore. And with that, that's my time, folks. It's early, I'm tired, but before I go, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and keep it locked right here for the next round of cultural commentary. The dust never stops flying, and trust me, we'll be here to sweep it all up.